Hey there, my amazing story lovers. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the wild, romantic, and sometimes jaw-dropping lives of CEOs who prove love can turn even the coldest hearts upside down. I'm so glad you're here today because we've got a tale that's going to hook you from the very first second. Picture this: one fleeting kiss under neon lights, a night that feels like a dream, and then, bam, 9 months later, everything changes. This is One Kiss with a Tech Titan. 9 months later, twins changed everything. Trust me, you won't believe where this story takes us. So, here's the deal. Our channel's all about those larger-than-life love stories where powerful people, like CEOs, find their worlds flipped by passion, secrets, and sometimes a little chaos. Today, we're meeting Lila Harper, a scrappy 28-year-old photographer with a camera in her hand and a dream in her heart, and Ethan Caldwell, a 35-year-old tech genius who runs a Silicon Valley empire like it's his personal playground. These two? They're about to crash into each other in a way neither saw coming. Before we jump in, let's set the mood. Imagine a rainy night in Seattle, the city buzzing with lights and possibilities. One kiss sparks it all, but here's the kicker. It's not just a love story. It's a roller coaster with secrets, heartbreak, and a twist that'll leave you gasping. I promise, by the end, you'll be hitting that like button and begging for more. Oh, and stick around. I'll need your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if one night changed your whole life? Let's find out together. All right, fam, buckle up. We're heading into a story that's equal parts swoon-worthy and insane. You ready? Let's go back to that rainy Seattle night where it all began. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single second of this. So here we are in Seattle, the city where the rain never quits and the coffee's always brewing. It's a chilly November night and the streets are alive with that moody neon glow you only get in the Pacific Northwest. Lila Harper, our 28-year-old firecracker of a photographer, is lugging her camera gear into this swanky downtown loft. She's been hired to snap pics at some fancy tech mixer. Nothing major, just a gig to pay the rent. Her dark hair's pulled back in a messy bun, and she's rocking jeans and a leather jacket, totally out of place among the suits and sleek dresses. But Lila? She doesn't care. She's here to work, not to impress. The room's buzzing. Think thumping bass, clinking glasses, and tech bros bragging about their latest apps. Lila's weaving through the crowd, her lens catching candid shots. A guy in a hoodie pitching an idea, a woman in heels laughing too loud. Then, out of nowhere, she feels it. Someone's watching her. She lowers her camera, and there he is, leaning against the bar like he owns the place. Ethan Caldwell, 35, CEO of Caldwell Tech, the kind of guy who could silence a room just by walking in. He's tall, with sharp cheekbones and eyes like a stormy sea, dressed in a black blazer that screams money but somehow looks effortless. Lila catches her breath. This dude's not just handsome, he's magnetic. She shakes it off, focuses on her shots, but fate's got other plans. Later, she's adjusting her tripod near the bar when Ethan slides up next to her. "You're missing the real story over here," he says, his voice low and smooth, like he's letting her in on a secret. Lila smirks, not missing a beat. "Oh yeah? And what's that? Another guy trying to sell me a dating app?" He chuckles. And it's the first time she notices the tiniest crack in his cool guy armor. "Nah," he says, "just a guy who's curious why you're the only one here not trying to network." They get talking. Nothing deep, just banter about the party, the city, the way the neon lights bounce off the wet streets outside. Lila's surprised how easy it feels, like they've known each other forever. The drinks keep flowing, the music gets louder, and before she knows it, they're out on the balcony, the rain misting around them. It's one of those moments where time slows down, the city sparkling below, the air electric. Ethan looks at her, really looks at her, and says, "You're not like anyone here." Lila laughs, brushing it off. "You don't even know me." But then it happens. He steps closer and she doesn't pull away. The rain's dripping off the awning, the neon lights painting their faces in shades of blue and pink, and he kisses her. It's not some sloppy, impulsive thing. It's deliberate, like he's been thinking about it all night. Lila's head spins, her hands finding his jacket, and for a minute, the world's just them. Two strangers caught in something bigger than they realize. The kiss deepens, and before she can overthink it, They're stumbling back inside, past the party into a quiet corner where no one's watching. The next thing she knows, it's morning. She wakes up in a hotel room she doesn't recognize, Ethan's blazer draped over a chair. He's already gone, no note, no number, just the faint scent of his cologne on the pillow. Lila sits there, staring at the skyline through the window, her heart pounding. What the hell just happened, she mutters to herself. She grabs her stuff, slips out, and figures that's that. A wild night with a stranger she'll never see again. Little does she know, that kiss wasn't the end of their story. It was just the beginning, and it's about to turn her whole life upside down. Fast forward a couple of months from that rainy Seattle night, and Lila Harper's life is still humming along. Well, mostly. She's back in her tiny apartment, a cluttered walk-up with peeling paint and a view of a brick wall. Her camera's always within reach, and she's been hustling non-stop, booking small gigs, weddings, headshots, whatever pays. But lately, something's off. She's exhausted, like bone-deep tired, and her stomach's been staging a revolt every morning. At first, she blames the cheap coffee, or maybe a flu bug going around. Then, one rainy afternoon, she's staring at 2 pink lines on a pregnancy test, and her world stops spinning. Lila's 28, single, and barely scraping by. Pregnant was not on her bingo card. She sits on her bathroom floor, the test shaking in her hand, and whispers, "No way, no freaking way." But 3 tests later, it's real, and not just one baby. Her first doctor's visit drops the bombshell: twins. She's carrying 2 little humans courtesy of that one wild night with Ethan Caldwell, the tech titan she barely knows. Panic hits hard. She doesn't even have his number, just a blurry memory of his face and that kiss that's still haunting her dreams. She thinks about tracking him down. I mean, he's a big-shot CEO. Google could probably find him in 10 seconds. But then what? Show up at his fancy office like, "Hey, remember me? Surprise, you're gonna be a dad, ×2. Lila's not naive. She's seen the headlines about Ethan. Ruthless, brilliant, a guy who lives for code and boardrooms, not diapers and lullabies. What if he thinks she's after his money? Or worse, what if he wants nothing to do with them? She can't stomach the idea of her kids growing up feeling unwanted. So she makes a call. She's doing this alone. Lila packs up her life and moves to Portland, a fresh start where no one knows her story. She rents a shoebox apartment above a bakery, the smell of bread sneaking through the floorboards every morning. Money's tight, so she works nights, shooting bar scenes and art events, coming home to crash on a secondhand couch. 9 months later, Mia and Noah burst into her world, 2 tiny screaming miracles with dark hair and these piercing blue eyes that stop her heart. They've got Ethan's eyes, no question, and it's a bittersweet punch every time she looks at them. The next 4 years? They're a blur of grit and love. Lila's a mom and a hustler, balancing bottles and camera lenses like a pro. She builds her photography gig from scratch, portraits of kids, moody landscapes, anything to keep the lights on. Mia's a whirlwind, always climbing stuff she shouldn't, while Noah's quieter, obsessed with puzzles and staring out windows like he's solving the world's mystery. They're her everything, and she's damn proud of the little life she's carved out. Sure, it's not glamorous. Her fridge is mostly ketchup packets, and her clothes are thrift store finds. But it's theirs. Sometimes, late at night when the twins are asleep, Lila pulls out her old camera and flips through pics from that Seattle gig. There's one shot she never deleted: Ethan, caught mid-laugh at the bar, his guard down for a split second. She wonders where he is, what he's doing, if he'd even care. But she shakes it off. We're fine, she tells herself, kissing Mia and Noah goodnight. We don't need him, and for a while, that's true. She's got her lens, her kids, and a stubborn streak a mile wide. What Lila doesn't know is that 4 years of quiet chaos are about to get loud. Those blue eyes she loves so much, they're a ticking clock, and Ethan's about to walk back into her life, whether she's ready or not. Because fate? It's got a funny way of catching up, and this story's nowhere near done. 4 years have zipped by since that Seattle night, and Ethan Caldwell's life is a well-oiled machine. He's 35 now, still the king of Caldwell Tech, running the show from a glass tower in Silicon Valley. His days are a whirlwind of meetings, code reviews, and billion-dollar deals. His nights, well, they're usually just him, a whiskey, and a laptop. Ethan's not the sentimental type. Relationships, they're distractions. Love, A glitch he doesn't have time to debug. But every now and then, when the city lights flicker outside his penthouse, he remembers a girl with a camera and a kiss that hit him harder than he'd admit. Meanwhile, across the country, Lila's built her world around Mia and Noah. She's got a small studio now in Portland, nothing fancy, just a rented space with good light and a beat-up desk. Her photos are starting to get noticed, though. Moody shots of the Oregon coast, candid kid portraits that tug at the heart. One day, a gallery in San Francisco picks up her work for a pop-up exhibit. She's thrilled but nervous, shipping off a dozen framed prints, including one she almost didn't send. A black and white of Mia and Noah laughing in the rain, their blue eyes sparkling like the sea. Cut to Ethan, who's in San Francisco for a tech conference. He's not an art guy, but his assistant drags him to the exhibit opening, some networking thing with investors. He's half listening to a VC drone on about AI when he glances across the room and freezes. There, on the wall, is that photo. Two kids, maybe 4 years old, with eyes so familiar it's like staring into a mirror. His whiskey glass nearly slips from his hand. "Who shot this?" he mutters, cutting off the guy mid-sentence. The gallery host points to Lila's name on the plaque. Lila Harper, Portland. Ethan's brain kicks into overdrive. Harper, Seattle, the photographer. He doesn't sleep that night. By morning, he's got his team digging, discreetly, of course. A PI tracks Lila down in 48 hours. Single mom, 2 kids, born 4 years ago, right around 9 months after that night. Ethan does the math, and it hits him like a freight train. Those kids? His kids? He's on a plane to Portland before he can second-guess it. His usual cool replaced by something raw and messy he doesn't recognize. Lila's in her studio when he shows up, late afternoon light spilling through the windows. She's editing shots, hair in a ponytail, when the door swings open. She looks up, and there's Ethan, taller than she remembers, in a crisp suit but with eyes that look like they've seen a ghost. "Lila," he says, voice tight. She freezes, her laptop screen still glowing with Mia and Noah's faces. "Ethan?" she stammers, standing so fast her chair tips over. "What are you at?" He doesn't let her finish. He steps closer, pointing at the photo on her desk. Those kids. The eyes. They're mine, aren't they? It's not a question. It's a demand. Lila's heart slams against her ribs. She could lie, dodge, run, but those eyes, they're a dead giveaway. "Yeah," she says finally, chin up despite the shake in her voice. "They're yours." The air's thick with everything unsaid. Ethan's jaw clenches, anger flashing first. 4 years, Lila. You kept them from me for 4 years? She fires back. "You think I wanted this? To do it alone? I didn't even know your last name till I saw it in some tech magazine." He paces, hands in his hair, then stops, staring at her like he's seeing her for the first time. "Why didn't you find me?" he asks, quieter now, almost hurt. Lila crosses her arms. "Because I didn't want them growing up with a dad who'd see them as a problem to fix." Before he can argue, the studio door creaks open again. Mia barrels in, Noah trailing behind, back from a playdate. "Mommy," Mia yells, then stops, eyeing Ethan. "Who's that?" Noah tilts his head, those blue eyes locking onto his dad's. Ethan kneels, speechless, taking them in. His kids, real and right there. Lila watches, her throat tight. He's mad, yeah, but there's something else in his face. Wonder, maybe regret. "I'm not walking away from this," Ethan says finally, standing up, his voice steady. "We need to talk, Lila. Now." She nods, knowing there's no running from this anymore. The twins just stare, clueless that their little world's about to get a whole lot bigger. So, picture this. Lila's studio is dead quiet, except for the hum of her laptop and the twins chattering in the corner. Mia's stacking blocks into a wobbly tower, and Noah's got his nose in a puzzle book, those blue eyes flicking up every now and then to peek at Ethan. Ethan Caldwell, tech titan, is standing there in his stupidly perfect suit, looking at Lila like she's holding all the cards in a game he didn't even know he was playing. And Lila? She's torn. Part of her wants to kick him out, but those kids, her whole world, deserve more than her pride. Ethan breaks the silence first. "I'm not here to fight, Lila, but they're mine too. I want in." His voice is firm, but there's a crack in it, like he's still reeling from seeing Mia and Noah up close. Lila crosses her arms, leaning against her desk. In. What does that even mean, Ethan? You don't know them. You don't know me. He steps closer, not crowding her, just enough to make his point. Then let me. I've got resources, Lila. Money, stability, a name. They shouldn't be scraping by when I can give them everything. She laughs, sharp and bitter. Oh, great. The billionaire swoops in with his checkbook. That's not what they need, Ethan. They need a dad, not a sponsor. He doesn't flinch, just nods like he's already thought this through. Fine, then we do it right. We get married, legit, on paper. It gives them my name, my protection. But I'll be there, Lila, not just a signature. Her jaw drops. Married? Are you insane? We had one night 4 years ago. Ethan's eyes don't waver. Yeah, and it made a family. I'm not losing them again. Lila's head's spinning, but she's not dumb. She knows he could lawyer up, drag this through courts she can't afford, so she counters. If we do this, it's not some cold contract. You show up, really show up, for them, or I'm out. Ethan agrees, and just like that, they're plotting a move to Seattle, to a house he's got tucked away. A modern place with big windows and a yard, nothing like his sterile penthouse. Fast forward a few weeks and they're settling in. It's weird as hell. Lila's used to her cramped Portland life, and now she's got space and Ethan Caldwell under the same roof. He's still Mr. CEO, jetting off to meetings, but he's there for dinner most nights, asking Mia about her block towers and Noah about his puzzles. One evening, he pulls out a kid's coding kit for Noah, sits cross-legged on the rug and teaches him how to make a robot blink. Noah's hooked, calling him E-Faith, because he can't quite say Ethan yet. Then there's Mia. She's tougher to crack, but one night she's fussy, and Ethan picks up Lila's guitar. Yeah, she's got one. Strums a goofy lullaby. Mia giggles herself to sleep, and Lila catches herself smiling from the doorway. It's not perfect, though. They sleep in separate rooms, keep it civil, more like roommates than anything else. Lila's waiting for the catch, and it comes when Jessica Kane slinks into the picture. She's Ethan's old college rival turned tech shark, all sharp suits and sharper smiles. She bumps into Lila at a coffee shop, casual as you please, and drops, "Saw Ethan's new family on the news. Cute story. Almost too cute, huh? Huh? Almost too cute, huh? Huh? I wonder how long it'll last." Lila brushes it off, but then photos land in her inbox. Ethan with some sleek brunette at a hotel, late-night shots that scream affair. Jessica's name's all over the email, and Lila's gut twists. Is this who he really is? She confronts him that night, tossing the pics on the kitchen counter. "Explain this, Ethan, now." He stares at them, jaw tight. "It's not what you think. It's business. Sensitive stuff I can't talk about yet." Lila's not buying it. Business? In a hotel at midnight? "We said honesty, Ethan. If you're playing me, I'm gone." He looks at her, something flickering in those stormy eyes. Frustration, maybe guilt. "I'm not playing you. Give me time to sort this out." But Lila's trust is cracking, and Jessica's smug little game is just getting started. The twins don't notice the tension yet. Mia's still dragging Ethan to fix her block castles, and Noah's begging for more robot lessons. Lila watches them, heart aching. She wanted him to be real for them, not just some tech prince with a hidden life. But as Jessica's shadow looms bigger, Lila's wondering if she made a huge mistake letting Ethan in. Little does she know, the real storm's about to hit, and it's not just about trust. So, things are shaky in Seattle. Lila's staring at those blurry hotel photos of Ethan every night, her mind spinning. She's not a fool. She knows Jessica Kane's stirring the pot, but the doubt's real. Ethan's been cagey, coming home later, dodging her questions with that same "it's business" line. She wants to believe him, for Mia and Noah's sake, but her gut's screaming something's off. The twins are oblivious, though. Noah's glued to Ethan's side, tinkering with robot kits, and Mia's got him wrapped around her finger, demanding piggyback rides. It's sweet, but it's breaking Lila's heart. What if this whole family thing's a lie? One rainy Tuesday, Lila's had enough. She's at the kitchen table, the kids asleep upstairs, when Ethan walks in, tie loose, looking beat. "We're done with half answers," she says, sliding the photos toward him again. "Either you tell me the truth, or I'm taking them and leaving tomorrow." Ethan freezes, then sits, running a hand through his hair. "Lila, I swear it's not what it looks like." "But I can't." She cuts him off, voice low but fierce. Don't give me that." If you're screwing around, own it. They deserve better than a dad who sneaks off. He looks at her, and for the first time there's something raw in his eyes. Panic, maybe. I'm not cheating. It's a deal. Huge, messy, under wraps. That woman's a lawyer, not a lover. But I can't say more yet. Lila's not sold. A lawyer? At a hotel? Ethan, I'm not stupid. He reaches for her hand, but she pulls back. Trust me for 2 more days, he says. It'll be clear then. She doesn't answer, just grabs her coffee and heads upstairs. Trust's a tall order when you're staring at pictures like that. The next morning, she's done waiting. Lila packs bags for her and the twins, calls her old Portland landlord and books a bus to a little cabin in Oregon. Somewhere quiet to think. She's not running forever, just needs space. Mia whines about leaving Ethan and Noah's clutching his robot like it's a lifeline, but Lila's mind's made up. By noon, they're gone, the house empty when Ethan gets home. He finds a note. Figure out what you want, we're not a game. He's gutted, pacing the living room, calling her phone. Straight to voicemail. Here's where it flips. Ethan's not just hurt, he's pissed. He digs into those photos, calls his security guy, and pieces start falling together. The lawyer is legit. Sarah Miles, counsel for a biotech firm he's buying out. But the timing's too perfect. He pulls company logs and boom, leaked emails from Jessica Kane's team, syncing his meetings with Sarah to look like a scandal. It's not just petty revenge. Jessica's playing a bigger game. She's been cozying up to Caldwell Tech's board, whispering about Ethan's unstable personal life, pushing to oust him and take over. The photos? Her ammo to tank his cred and snag his company. Ethan's blood boils. He's been so wrapped up in the deal. Ironic, since it's to fund a kid's coding program, something Noah inspired. He missed the real threat. Jessica didn't just want to wreck his marriage, she wanted his empire. And Lila? She's collateral damage. He grabs his keys, checks Lila's last known spot via a tracker. She doesn't know he slipped in Noah's robot. Yeah, shady, but he's desperate. And sees they're headed to Oregon. A blizzard's rolling in, roads closing, but Ethan doesn't care. He's in his Jeep, tearing through snow, windshield wipers barely keeping up. Back at the cabin, Lila's unpacking, the twins curled by a tiny fireplace. She's replaying Ethan's words, wondering if she overreacted. Then her phone pings. An anonymous text with a screenshot. Jessica bragging to an exec about cleaning house at Caldwell Tech. Lila's stomach drops. This isn't just about her. It's bigger. She tries calling Ethan, but the storms killed the signal. Outside, snow's piling up and she's stuck, praying he's not the jerk she feared. Ethan's fighting the blizzard, tires skidding, radio crackling about road closures. He's not thinking CEO thoughts now, just dad ones, husband ones. Jessica's screwed him over, but losing Lila and the kids? That's the real gut punch. He's got one shot to fix this, and it's through a wall of snow to a cabin he's never seen. The twist? Jessica's not just a jealous ex. She's a corporate viper, and she's about to lose everything she bet on. So Ethan's Jeep is barreling through the Oregon blizzard, snow slamming the windshield like it's trying to bury him alive. He's white-knuckling the wheel, the cabin's GPS dot blinking on his phone. Lila and the twins are close, maybe a mile out. The radio's spitting static about closed highways, but Ethan's not turning back. He's replaying every dumb move he made, not explaining the deal, letting Jessica's game get this far. All he sees now are Mia's giggles, Noah's quiet stares, and Lila's face when she walked away. He's not losing them. Not to a storm, not to anything. Inside the cabin, Lila's pacing by the fire. Mia and Noah are snuggled under a blanket, half asleep, the wind howling outside. That text about Jessica's plot is burning a hole in her brain. She misjudged Ethan, maybe, but she's still mad he didn't fight harder to tell her. The signal's dead, and she's stuck waiting, second-guessing everything. Then, through the roar of the storm, she hears it. A thud on the porch. She grabs a poker city girl instincts and cracks the door. There's Ethan, soaked to the bone, snow caked in his hair, looking like he wrestled a bear to get there. Lila, he says, voice rough, stepping in before she can shut him out. I'm an idiot. Let me fix this. She's stunned, lowering the poker. You drove through that? He nods, shivering. Had to. You're right. I should have told you everything. He spills it. The biotech deal, the lawyer, Jessica's double cross to steal his company. Those pics were her setup, I was blind, Lila, but not to you. Never to you. She stares, processing, then softens. I got a text. Jessica's plan. I thought you were gone for good. Before he can answer, Mia's voice pipes up, sleepy but thrilled. Ethan! She toddles over, Noah trailing, and Ethan scoops them up, wet jacket and all. I'm not going anywhere, he says, eyes locked on Lila's. I love you, not the deal, not the name, and them? They're my world. Lila's throat tightens, tears mixing with a shaky laugh. You're a mess, Caldwell. She steps into his arms, kids and all, and kisses him. Hard, real, like that Seattle night, but better. They head back to Seattle the next day. Storm cleared, air crisp. Ethan's on the phone with his team, nailing Jessica to the wall. Leaked emails, board votes, the works. She's toast. Her takeover imploding as fast as she built it. At home, Mia's bossing Ethan around with her blocks, Noah's coding beside him, and Lila's snapping pics of it all. It's messy, loud, perfect. Jessica gambled big and lost bigger, but Ethan and Lila, they won something neither saw coming. A real family, forged through chaos and a hell of a twist. And there you have it, fam, the wild ride of Lila, Ethan, and those adorable twins. From one kiss to a blizzard showdown, they turned chaos into a family worth rooting for. Jessica's big swing, total flop. Love, trust, and a couple of blue-eyed kids won the day. What a story, right? I'm still reeling from that twist. Did you see it coming? Drop your thoughts below. Would you have trusted Ethan or run like Lila? Hit that like button if you loved it and subscribe if you're new. Tap the bell too, because we've got more CEO love stories on deck. Thanks for hanging out. See you in the next one.